yes, yes, yes.
Who can stop this constipated chop with the awful animation and the complicated plot? Who's got the rap bombs to drop on Japan? This looks like a job for the OG. Superman! I'm killing it, you're grilling it. I'm villainous to vegetables who dance around in hammer pants and hide their tiny genitals. My level is incredible. I'm out of your league. You want justice? I'll bust this nut up in your GG. Greasy, sick MC from DC. One breath I'll freeze your whole measly species. You're primitive and limited. You live in a village of idiots. Step in metropolis or step a character. How many times are they gonna rewrite your story? Your powers have been boring since the 1940s. Defeat me with heat beams, you're crazy. Cause I'm a Super Saiyan, you're a flying Miss Daisy. You're pretty pasty to be powered by the sun. You can't float to Son Goku, I can't get it done. When I see your movies, all I do is watch the clock. Cause there's nothing fun about a superhero scared of green rocks. Look at those panties, you got that camel. I'm aboard the Lowe's Lane, a Superman at home. Your rapping is weaker than your fight scene. Just one punch, and over 9,000 screams. I'll make your nose bleed like Roshi, stiff and petty. From Z to GT, you can Dragon Ball D. Don't lecture me about fights, you cape coward. You got your ass beat by a bat with no powers. There's only one way that this battle's gonna end. One more Superman who's never gonna walk again.
Now let's shake up the pot some more here by dismantling one of the greatest subjects in the entirety of human history that has been misused as a tool of vengeance, greed and deception more so than it has brought peace to the world in general. Now first let me be clear that what I say has no contrast on the subject of love. I believe love is a beautiful thing. No, the subject I'm speaking of is marriage. Now something that many do not know is that matrimony in itself and the process of what technically is considered to become married, in most cultural and traditional versions, are actually against the laws of God and considered to consist of the worst sins that one can commit. In fact, the entire concept of marriage was first designed by the rebel angels, and the very center of a person's wedding vows are an altered version of the sins that caused one of the major issues that God condemned the rebel angels for. One of the sins that caused them to be exiled from heaven was that of the oath. In a translation of what happened was that the rebel angels has made vows and swore to stand by their decision to have these children. That they would not conceive them with anyone that they had not fallen in love with. They would not bear a child with sinful desires or intentions in their hearts, for the Lords had always told them how he could be found in every pure emotion felt by all living things basically. At this time, though God was not present in creation, he had gone on one of his seventh day of rest periods. It was during this time, just before he left, that he sent the 7 rebel angels to earth with instruction to secretly observe the emotional turmoils of mankind and watch over them and tell him what they have learned when he returned. He gave them instruction not to partake in the pleasures and celebrations of man and to only seek nourishment from the divine manna bread, which in translation was the comfort of songs and prayers of the heavenly cherubs that would soothe their spirits and replenish their energy, as they were spiritual-like beings that had manifested into a physical appearance. This uses up a lot of energy which would need to be replenished by the cherubs who would soothe them with songs and prayers from heaven. Oh, shit. I think I see another mystery of his puzzle that absolves Jophiel. Not to sidetrack too far, but heaven claims that they found Jophiel's angelic grace influencing Lucifer's emotions during his rise to rebellion. So what if they are both right but misunderstood? What if Jophiel was one of those angels who did not trust Lucifer because of the accusations and harbored those feelings of mistrust? Then later, having been one of the cherub angels who brought the rebel angels their nourishment through the manna bread and accidentally transferred her emotions of mistrust to Lucifer, causing the core of his mistrust to develop for God in the exchange. Holy shit, we gotta let them know and stop them from destroying Jophiel before it's too late. I was a part of this condemnation against Jophiel. I feel I should make amends for this misunderstanding. Place me in the path to buy Jophiel time if need be. It sounds full of bravado, but it's the first thing I could think of, and remember the if needed part. So continuing on, the rebel angels had designed a way of making a pact, a promise, vow or oath, however you want to call it, and to God it seemed as though they placed their sacred holy faith and trust between Creator and his creations, as a bartering chip, that was something to use for betting. Forsaking, something no other creature had with him. That was the sin that hurt him the most in all this. Feeling tossed aside as a useless relic to be bartered with. The key thing that did this was when they placed his ineffable name over the vows they made as if it sealed the deal. Oh, I see now. Sorry, Jehovah. I did not realize. Well, now I know. May we learn from this and continue on. I shall try to keep this in mind. The soul contracts did the same thing, huh? But like with what you revealed about Adam and even then hiding in shame instead of admitting when they were wrong, see that I am listening and adapting. I see what else you're getting at. It happens often. A name is just a name, but my situation is a bit different. With me they took a name and pressed their false image of me and led others to believe me to be something I was not, with the intent of getting me killed, tormented and enslave my free will to their commands by breaking my confidence in myself. To use me as a pawn in their schemes for power, fame and glory, like I'm some sort of cattle stock only worth my weight to the butcher's shop. Okay, I'm dramatizing it a bit. Now we take into account what has become of this process that began as what was once the greatest sin an angel had ever done, enough to lead them into exile. Until now, many eons later, where this practice has become a method that binds two people together, everything they have toiled the soil of the earth for, is placed upon that shelf as a barter chip. From their home, everything in it, all that they have gathered and saved to secure their life with, to ensure their hard work provides them with enough saved resources so that they can relax and enjoy some of the wonders in life and live life to its greatest potential as they dream it to be. All of this goes up as barter to ensure the promises and vows that bind them together are kept. The sad part is that many women out there feel like men are dominant in the opportunities and access to this method of building life towards their dream. They claim that it's not an equal and fair market for them because it's run by things that only men can do. They claim many different reasons to justify what they do, but the basic point is that they use this method of binding through vows of marriage many times with the intent of destroying what that man has built with his life. They speak of traumatic events and pull on the sympathy of anyone who will listen in order to gain their favor and rally against the same men they swore vows to. They even go as far as paying women who sell their skills for pleasure to lure their men towards breaking these vows so they have the easy excuse to begin the argument that will lead them towards what they were after all along. They lie, cheat, manipulate, deceive, conspire and seduce with words, with emotional pity, and with years of practice controlling and mastering their emotions to hide their true feelings through their natural process of their menstrual cycles. Their whole lives, once a month, their body suffers a massive to moderate loss of blood for a few days. Medically, this amount of blood loss experienced by anyone will make them light-headed, quick-tempered and snappy, especially after a few days of minimal consistent blood loss until the body replenishes the lost nutrients within the blood that the body needs to function properly. If you've experienced patients in the hospital with severe wounds, you know what attitude I mean. Now take that attitude and place it once a month for a week for someone's entire life. They eventually become masters of hiding their emotions, but critically mentally fragile and unstable usually. And there you have it, the modern female marriage problem. It doesn't matter what the man does, they will eventually do something to trigger the psychosis embedded within the subconscious and they will begin unknowingly sabotaging their own marriage. Now, for example, let us take into account what happened during the Salem witch trials for a look into women, and the price they paid for such deceptions. It seems that many of them know about this method of sabotaging their marriages and have used it for a long time. This is what they used to gather and speak about in secret that started the Salem witch trials, for that was their crime. Conspiring against the men of authority to get them quietly killed and replaced by their sons, and through them the mothers would control the town. The men of the surrounding region felt it was too volatile of a subject to allow the public to know the truth of, because if word traveled about what their reasons were and what their methods were, then it might cause sympathizers to rally more women who felt the same way and it would become a countrywide problem. So with this paranoia instilled in their fears, they covered up the true evidence and held the women on trial for witchcraft and being in league with the devil. They claimed their secret meetings were nights of sinful practice, debauchery and fornication. That most of the women charged were married, and along with 16 women there were 2 children they say that were also tried, found guilty, and executed along with their mother. However, an unknown secret that I'll reveal here is that one of those children was the devil, for inside him, a few of the slaves had performed a summoning and placed an evil spirit within that innocent boy. Now I can't remember who exactly it was, but the decision to kill the children of one of those who was executed happened because they were trying to force her to sign a confession. She refused, so the magistrate decided rather than burden an orphanage with 2 more children, they would just add them to the list of charged suspects. The people wanted this to happen, but it went too far at that point. There was nothing they could do to stop them. So after it was done, the people of Salem all agreed to sweep that whole scenario from history, the town records, and they quoted in the end, "Only the devil will know the truth of what we did, for surely we will all burn in